Hallo, liebe metal.de Gemeinde, ich bin Angela und ich bin hier in Island im wunderschönen Stykkishólmur.
Ja, mir gut. Ganz gut.
Ganz gut?
Ja.
Stykkishólmur beim Sautan Festival. Und ich sitze hier mit Thráinn von Skálmöld und mit Adi from Sólstafir. Can you say?
Carry on, please.
Yes?
Carry on.
Und wir reden jetzt ein bisschen über die isländische Musikszene, was ihr darüber wissen müsst und vor allem auch, wie es hier beim Festival ist. So I'm gonna switch to English. So we've been here 3 days now. How do you like the festival? What were your impressions?
Well, first of all, this is my first time on the second Sautan Festival, and I was so surprised at how wonderful organization it actually is already. We know Gísli, of course, who is one of the founders of this festival.
Gísli is one of the founders of heavy metal in Iceland.
Yeah, and he's also one of the oldest persons in Iceland, and also quite nice sometimes. No, always, he's always nice.
Always nice.
Yeah, that was a very bad joke.
Bad joke.
So the festival is actually in its second year. We had another festival, but that ran its course. I've been around not city, this is a small town. Yeah. And it's lovely how the local people who were so afraid of accepting a metal festival in this community, they're all so happy now. And one older lady asked me, it will be again next year, right? So people,
they're hoping now.
Yeah, nice. It's a success.
Yeah, I think like Thráinn said, because for 18 years there was this festival called Eistnaflug, and that sort of created some community that, you know, we had, Icelanders had our festival in the countryside. All the bands played there. We played multiple times, Skálmöld and Sólstafir, and many of the bands, and we got visitors from abroad, and Gísli was a part of that for a while, and then that died, and then they formed this one. It's a totally independent festival, but it's sort of, I'm not going to say it came from the ashes of it, but it's a nice continuation of us, the metal people in Iceland, having sort of a community festival, because everybody was on board to create this, and we all went from the east now to here, second year in a row. So last year was the first time, and people were like, is this really happening? Because a new festival, and I think people hardly believed it when they were last year, and they made it a reality last year. And now it was like, oh, it's happening again. So we now know it's happening again next year. So it's a real birth of a new festival, and everybody's excited. I think like guys like me and Thráinn, even the guys in the bands in Europe, because everybody wanted to go to Iceland to do a festival, and we had so many bands in the East, and now already we're getting fucking Carcass and many of the bands here, and even the people here. Of course, they're afraid to having tattooed, bearded guys with long hair. Just thinks that, oh, they're going to be doing drugs the whole time, and there's not even fights here. I never. No. So it's.
I mean, people are talking about watching tattooed metalheads, like putting the garbage in the right.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. So nobody's throwing it. Everybody's cleaning it.
It's a new era of heavy metal people. Because I think it's over, like, oh, they're all drug addicts and they pee on the flowers. That's not really happening.
That's
now.
more like when we have like family festivals in these towns. Things get fucked up.
Oh, yeah. The kids go home. The kids go home, and then the parents go crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But there's another thing also that I'd like to mention, that meeting everybody here, like all our friends, even people that I don't know personally, but you kind of like, they're in this band or this band. The atmosphere here is so relaxed.
It's a convention. It's like a convention.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're all here for the same purpose, having fun. That's what it's all about.
So you mentioned it, like people in the bands and so on. So you played with your band Bastardið there?
Very good.
You're gonna say it was good. And you also did.
Yeah.
Because one thing I noticed is that I've seen the same people pop up in different bands. So you're going to pop up here, which I can say because this is going to be published after. Yeah, we also had Bippy play, like, you know, in bands. So is that a specific thing that's like very Icelandic, that the scene is so close knit and people and bands overlap? And so yeah, just what's it like? How would you describe that, like, Icelandic music?
I mean, we've already played in a Metallica band together. So we've played Metallica songs together. We've played Motorhead songs together.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we've done.
That was so much fun.
So we've done this stuff before. I've been, singing one song with Skálmöld, and then, I formed this side project, and I needed guys to come in that, and they were like, hey, I want to do that. So Thráinn came in and played all the guitar solos. So it's a very much a friendly community, and yeah, yeah.
And also, I mean, in Iceland, we're like, 10 people who live in Iceland? It's a small country.
Yeah.
But then you have this smaller part of it being the metalheads. So, of course, it has to be like, hey, this one is available now. I mean, I've heard about drummers who are in 10 bands, and they're like, I can't add any more bands, because a great drummer is like gold, right? But it's also like that in general in the music. Whenever we are touring and we meet other bands in Europe, they are only in that band and they never play anything but
this music.
But when I was growing up, 15 years old, I was like, my guitar teacher said, hey, you're playing now with Paul Wheaton, who's a great black guitarist who played with Louis Armstrong, and he was here doing some clinics, and you're playing with him at the hotel bar next Saturday. And I'm like 15 years old trying to grow hair with my Red Jackson guitar. And you just did that. And then you play a folk festival or something. You just have to do everything here if you want to be a musician. So I was telling yesterday at the clinic, which I talked in Icelandic, you didn't understand, sorry.
A little bit.
At one point, during lunchtime, I was at a practice with Bastardir. 3 hours later, I was at a sorority, which is a death metal band. I was practicing with them. And then at 5 o'clock that day, I went to it was a kindergarten graduation.
He does kindergarten gigs.
And then I had my acoustic guitar after 2 great practices during that day. And it was quite funny because I could play a little bit between when I was changing the setups, and parents were there, and I could play a little bit of Bastardir and sorority, acoustically. It was good.
I think what he's saying, because we're a small community, this also has affected a lot of bands, because we never had the rock club, or the metal club, or the gay club, or the Latino club, or the indie club, or black metal, or it was just a club downtown. Everybody would go there, and we would be playing with indie bands, or pop bands, or electro bands. So people would be, more closer to each other regarding listening to different kind of styles, because you can't, I'm only gonna go to the bar and listen to Judas Priest all night with Judas Priest fans. That doesn't happen in Iceland. It doesn't happen at all.
So speaking about different styles, Southern is obviously a metal festival, but it's pretty diverse in it. And they're also taking care of, or trying to promote, of course, Icelandic bands, but also new and young bands. So what are some bands at the festival, or also maybe outside of the festival, that you would recommend people should really give a listen?
I think if I may start, I would say there are bands like Múr, who played here last year, I think. And they're an exceptional band. They're
in Sweden Rock right now.
Yeah, exactly. And then, we could mention, I'm not going to mention too many, but Duft was playing here last night. They started on Thursday, right?
Vavurlógi, brand new black metal band.
It was yesterday.
Duft, check that out. Yeah. Nice band.
Vavurlógi. Amazing. Younger bands today, World Narcosis, not a brand new band, but a band that should be bigger. There's an amazing band.
Yeah, I hope everybody knows about Fortith and Mistyrming, and I love those. Love these bands.
Yeah, Fortith is a kind of an old band that is underrated. Mistyrming have really been, grinding it, playing festivals, a lot of festivals, and touring and touring and touring.
Yeah.
So they're really going up. So they're sort of they very early on became sort of the main focus point of black metal in Iceland, and they're still there. And I don't think anyone has challenged them. I think they took the throne off Svartidauði,
Yeah.
and they're like, "We're there.
Yeah.
Who's coming to get it?"
Yeah,
and
true.
I don't think anyone has. Hey, I'm coming for you. I don't think anyone dares right now.
Maybe they actually share a drummer, or at least a live drummer. I just saw Forceman,
Yep.
also very good.
Yeah,
I was going to mention them. Yeah, Forceman.
great, another great band. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, what else about traveling to Iceland or like coming here to Stykkishólmur?
Very good.
Should people in Germany, our audience, know what else should we do? For example, if we take another few days, to explore, what are your top tips?
Go outside of the Golden Circle era.
Stay away from the south coast.
Yeah.
That's like going to England and only seeing Big Ben and Thames River.
Yeah.
So it's just like if you go to London, there's other things than Big Ben and Thames River. So go to Westfjords. No tourist. Best place.
Visit this place.
This place. Yeah, this is the Westland, but Westfjords is even less.
Yeah.
It's less tourist overcrowded.
Yeah. The east and the north, tourists think too much about Reykjavik area. I want to stay at a nice hotel or something and see the waterfalls and hot springs close to Reykjavik.
Yeah.
Come on, there's more. And listen to Icelandic music while you're driving, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
And in your bands, no matter which ones, is there anything that's coming up that we should be excited about, or do we need to wait until more things are being revealed?
But we have a fairly new album, both of us out. I mean, you came a few months before. When did you come out? Last one?
August 23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a year before.
Almost 2 years though.
33. Okay, sorry. Time goes so fast.
You're basically telling me we should have a new album out.
I mean,
But you do write albums very fast, so you could write one in 2 months.
Yeah, true.
Our came out like in late, I don't know. September.
Yeah, I think
okay, late last year. Okay. So we're going on tour in summer and November. Did you just come? I feel like you're always touring. Did you just come home from touring? Or are you going?
We just came home from France. We're playing there, doing some festivals.
Yeah.
After this festival here, I'm looking forward for a few weeks off.
Deserved
A few weeks off, and then we have festivals in August.
Until I call him and say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna write a new Bastard album next month," and he's gonna say, "Yeah, look forward."
And Skálmöld has some festivals in August, and then we have shows here in Iceland in October, which we have not yet announced. So I did not say that, but we have shows in Akureyri and Reykjavik in October. Then we are planning on writing a new album. Yeah, all is good.
Allt gott.
Allt gott.
Allt gott. So thank you so much for your time. People know what to look out for. And
Dankeschön.
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 Tack för det.
Tack för det.
Tack för det.
Mjög gott.
What's
Yeah,
the what?
mjög gott. Very good.
It means I'm tired. I need to go home.
Okay, let's go.